Good evening, Bucknutters. Welcome into What We Learned Live following Ohio State's 42-3 win over visiting Minnesota. The biggest thing we learned is it's good not to be a Penn State fan. Okay, that's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot. I'm Dave Biddle. Welcome to the show. I'll be joined early in the show by J-Book. Heck yeah. Heater is then going to join after that. We're going to have Matt Baxendell after that, and then we're going to have Pat Murphy and Steve Helwagen live from Ohio Stadium. Thank you very much for joining me. So the three biggest things that I learned, let's start with this freshman class. I'm just talking about true freshmen. If we want to throw redshirt freshmen in there, like Julian Sand, for example, we can do that. Let's just talk about the true freshmen. I was so impressed with Bo Jackson and some of these guys, Devin Sanchez. How about Zion Grady? He played a ton tonight and played well. So this freshman class, it's kind of perfect. They don't need, none of them need to come in here and be difference makers, starters, but they need to add depth, and they have. And there's other examples we can give, like Riley Pettijohn, Fahim Delane, Jarquez Carter. There's other guys. We saw Quincy Porter out there tonight. Nate Roberts at tight end. I love this freshman class. Tavian St. Clair is going to be the starting quarterback here one day, I think. Luke Fahey might say maybe not, but I think Tavian will be. So that's the first thing I learned. I love this freshman class. I loved it already, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. Zion Grady, I was next year he'll probably break out. And I still feel that way. I don't think this is going to be his breakout year, but he played a lot tonight and played well, number 15 for the Buckeyes. That leads right into my next thing that I learned. You guys all know this already. We knew coming into this game Ohio State had the best defense in the country. This just solidified it. Not that Minnesota is a world beater on offense, but they go down, they get that field goal. People are like, oh, Drake Lindsey. And I'm thinking, enjoy that field goal. You're not going to get anything else. And they didn't. And normally when I make predictions like that, I'm wrong. But had that feeling that Minnesota was not going to get anything else tonight, and they didn't. And I do like their freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman, Drake Lindsey. I think he's going to be a good one there. And overall, I like PJ Fleck. I got a kick out of the 06 picture of PJ Fleck on Ohio State's staff, his 1 year at Ohio State. When he had the hair, it almost looks unnoticeable. So we learned this freshman class is maybe better than we expected. I expected them to be very good. They were the number 4 class in the country. They might be better than I expected. In fact, let's remove all disclaimers. They're better than I expected. They're phenomenal. The defense is the best defense in the country. Matt Patricia was an upgrade over Jim Knowles, who gave up 42 points to UCLA today. We're not even 4 minutes into the show. I've taken 2 shots at Penn State. James Franklin probably should have got tarmacked. It's 3 shots at Penn State. All right. We learned that Julian Sand, the other thing I learned, I wanted to say that Julian Sand just completely continues to prove that he looks like Joe Montana out there, like a young Joe Montana. I hate to say that because as a kid, I didn't like Joe Montana. He was beating my Bengals in Super Bowls twice. I don't really remember the first one, but I do remember the one in 88. 89 Super Bowl, 88 season. I'm telling you, man, Julian Sanders reminds me of Joe Montana. His composure, the way he throws the ball, they're almost the same size. Montana might be maybe a half inch taller. Montana was listed at 6'2". I bet you if Sand was in the NFL, he'd be listed at 6'2". Ohio State tends to actually list their players what they are. Trust me, Sand's at least 6'1.5". Who cares about that? He reminds me of Joe Montana. And I was just going to leave it at that. But, my gosh, we also learned this O-line is even better than we expected, and we all expected it would be good. We learned Carnell Tate. It was like carnival out there. Jeez. It was like Natalie Imbruglia, not Natalie Imbruglia. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. But Carnell Tate, my goodness, I think he's set a record in the first half alone. So, and Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football, as Ryan Day said in the post game. He's just he's the best player in football, period. Not offensive player, best player, period. So, could be more impressed with what we're seeing out of the defending national champs, the number 1 team in the nation. And Illinois next week will be a good test at Illinois. Illinois looked really good today. Altmaier had a really impressive performance today for Illinois. A lot of people thought they might be like in for an upset against Purdue, but Illinois, they got the job done. Listen, Ohio State's going to overwhelm them over 50 minutes, but it won't be completely easy next week in Champaign. All right, let's bring in my guy, Jonah Booker. J-Book, good to see you, man.
Hey, how are you? What a game.
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with this freshman classic I was talking about. Zion Grady playing a ton. Bo Jackson now is officially RB1. I love this freshman class, man.
Hey, outstanding. And the fact that they're getting contributions from these guys, I was surprised Zion Grady got in there that early, but it was hilarious because I was watching the game, and as soon as he made a play, I jumped up and I go, Zion Grady. And my wife is sitting next to me, and she goes, who's commentating on the game? Because like 5 seconds later, the announcers call his name, and I'm just like, I'm surprised he's the kid's in there, but he looked really good. But this freshman class, I mean, the fact that they're able to contribute right now, it just shows how good they are. That hey, if you can earn some minutes on the best team in college football, that tells me you're the real deal, Holyfield.
No doubt about it. Like, and you look at like Bo Jackson, like as usual, he gets hit, he falls forward. I thought James Peoples looked good today.
Yeah.
CJ Donaldson, man, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, James looked good. I think CJ Donaldson, I think, is now clear that his role is probably best being a situational type of back. But as far as Bo, it's clear that he's the guy. I mean, I think Bo actually runs harder than CJ, and he's probably 10, 15 pounds lighter. But I will say this: the way that Bo Jackson is running, Dave, I think he has an opportunity to maybe be going forward, probably one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. I think he's going to make the freshman all Big Ten list this year, the way he's running. But man, he looks absolutely amazing. I mean, he trucked that dude, put him put him on his butt, running the football. But just a complete game. I love the way this team is operating right now. This is the way that you come out, stretch the field. I mean, when you look at the offense, Dave, and the targets, like holy smokes, did Julian saying pepper his top targets? I mean, you look at Cornell Tate. He had what, 9 catches, and then Jeremiah had 7. Max Clare had another 5. So you talk about your top 3 targets there with 21 catches amongst the 3 of them. And that's the thing. If you can stretch the field, get the ball to those guys, good things are going to happen.
How about Julian Sayin? I mean, he reminds me, I hate to say
Amazing.
this as a Bengals fan, he reminds me of Joe Montana.
That's a good comparison. I mean, smooth operator, man. Smooth operator, just fundamentally sound. You know, he doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Just throws a beautiful ball. I mean, what did he go tonight? What was it? 23 for 27, 326.
23 of 20, you nailed it. 23.
Yeah,
Producer, can you look this up? Yes, I will, sir. Julian Sayin, 23 of 27 for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So his completion percentage goes up. It was already the best in the country.
right.
Despite the drops early. I couldn't be more impressed with the man. And like I keep saying this, I know his accuracy is the most impressive thing, right? I think I might be more impressed with his poise.
His poise, the one thing that I love about his game is he throws such a catchable ball. And the other thing is he puts the ball to where his guys can go get it. And he puts it to where in a vicinity like that ball to Cornell Tate where he kind of dragged the toes on the sideline. That was just a beautiful throw. And then now, what's up, Rick? And then now you get a situation to where you have a going into this game. The saying the talking point was they were very conservative. When was Ohio State going to stretch the field? College football nerds did an entire segment about how Julian saying Ohio State have really struggled to really throw the ball down the field, and they got upset because Ohio State fans was pushing back and was like, "What are you talking about? The guy's like 9 for 9 deep balls, and the way that he throws them, he's being taught to do that." And then they come out this game and just absolutely just beautiful throwing the ball down the field. I mean, when you look at this offense, Dave, I still think they have a whole lot left in the tank. I still don't think that they actually have put the pedal down. Like we before, if let's say they were on the highway and the speed limit was 65, going in before this game, I would say they were probably cruising at a nice 60, 55 miles per hour. Now you look at this game, I'm like, oh, you're just going to speed limit. You're probably going 65 miles per hour right now. I still think they got another 10 miles per hour up to 80 miles per hour in the 65 in this offense if they really want to turn it on.
I hate to nitpick. I still need more out of the 3-tech DTs. Like,
yeah,
Malone's not really doing much. Edric flashed a little bit tonight, Edric Houston.
Yeah.
If they can get if they can get Edric or Tyrone like playing like at a great level, that feels like that's the missing piece to make this defense go from like elite to like extreme elite. I know I'm nitpicking.
I think what we see is what we're going to get, Dave. I mean, because that was kind of the talking point all off season. That's why they were trying to go into the portal and get more defensive tackle help. And I think what you see is what you're going to get. And unless these guys just all of a sudden just make an incredible jump, I don't see them being these guys that's like, oh, all of a sudden they're playing lights out. I think they're just going to be guys that, hey, they're not going to kill you. They're not going to necessarily hurt you, but they're also not going to be game wreckers. You probably just need those guys to be serviceable at this point. Like, I don't need you to be a liability. If you can just be even killed, just hold the fort down, do your job, play it with discipline, and don't make any critical mistakes. The defense is so good around the rest of those guys. I think they'll be just fine. I mean, here we are, Dave. You're talking about a defense 5.5 yards or 5.5 points a game going into this game. You just held Minnesota to 3 points. And to me, when I watched that first series, the first thing that popped in my mind when I was watching Minnesota, I was like, oh yeah, that's a scripted offense. That's those first 10 to 12 plays that are scripted to where that quarterback knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football. Once you got him out of the script, I mean, it was all over for them. When you bring up the box score, you're talking about a Minnesota team that only converted on 1 first down the entire game, 1 for 11 for 162 total yards. And you're talking about a team that was put up some, major yardage against Rutgers last week. Just another, once again, outstanding job by Matt Patricia. I mean, I will have to go back and look at the box score, but the quarterback ended with only 94 yards passing, Dave, and probably 60 of that came on the first drive, which were scripted plays.
I'm a stats nerd. I love seeing things like Ohio State total yards 474, Minnesota total yards 162. Absolutely. If you can double up your opponent, that's good. How about almost tripling them up?
Yeah.
I'll get you out of here on this. I know you like doing some sports gaming here and there. So Ohio State was favored by 23.5. So when Minnesota kicked that field goal to go up 3-0, it went all the way down to 17.5. FanDuel actually had it at 16.5. I knew some people who took advantage of that when it happened. Did you happen to take advantage of any live betting?
I'm dead, man. I got caught slipping on that one. I'm mad. I'm mad.
I didn't mean to make you mad. I just no. I thought it was hilarious. It was like 23.5 and they got a field goal. Now it's down to like 17.5 or 16.5. I'm like, go, 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 go.
I know. You know the beautiful thing about this team, Dave? The thing about this team is they're the most consistent team. They're the least volatile team in all of college football. And for our sakes, as far as our blood pressure and us just having an absolute meltdown watching these teams, because I mean, if you're Penn State and you're paying Jim Knowles this much money and you watch his defense get dog walked by an analyst, a first-time play caller, and give up 40 points, do you know what type of meltdown what would happen in Columbus if that happened here, man? And then you look at all across college football. I mean, the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs throughout so many of these teams is just incredible. But when you look at Ohio State, the program is so consistent, like they're so like just steady Eddie. And that's a beautiful thing as a fan because there's the lack of volatility from this football team. If you go into this game, it's like I know what I'm going to get from it, and it makes the viewing experience so much better to where when you watch these other college football games, you're just like, holy smokes, man. I don't know how some of these fans deal with this, especially when Penn State. I mean, I don't know what you do with James Franklin at this point.
Yeah. And for Ohio State, it feels like the dynasty has been kicked off. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't care. Ohio State is the best team in the country this year. They were the national champions last year. Let's go, baby. Great stuff out of Jonah Booker, as always. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you joining me.
I'm telling you this. My agenda, they're going to be talking all next week about how Miami's the best team in the country. I'm going on my Twitter rampage I'm combating that. Like, hey, there's not a team in America right now that wants to see Ohio State.
Let's settle it in Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah.
Miami likes playing Ohio State in Sun Devil Stadium, don't they? No, they don't. All right. Great stuff out of J-Book. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Talk to you next week,
sir. All right. Let's bring in my man in Amsterdam. Big Pulp Fiction fan. Ohio State savant. Mostly a Pulp Fiction fan, though.
Oh, wow. Wow.
No, mostly Ohio State savant. Heath Schneider. Heater, how you doing, man?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. How is my man in Amsterdam?
I'm your man in Inglewood, but I'm doing good.
That's right. I am the man in Amsterdam. The next line, of course, is my man in Inglewood. I apologize.
That's all right. All right. Do you know where UCLA is? It's in LA, and apparently they beat Penn State today.
I've heard of UCLA. I thought it was an avenue in Cleveland, but that's Euclid. My bad. UCLA evidently is no longer just a basketball school. They now play football there. I didn't know that was a thing anymore. Not since who was there? Troy Aikman, I think. Calvin Pete was across town at USC, and they were both tearing it up.
Rodney Pete?
Yeah, I'm said. Calvin Pete's the golfer. My bad. Rodney Pete. I apologize. I apologize.
What are you doing over here? Like I mentioned LA is the host of UCLA, and you went like Calvin Pete on me. It's all right though. It's okay.
Rodney Pete.
So your main takeaway from this game is what?
My main takeaway from this game is that is a nasty defense. That defense is absolutely outstanding from everything I can see. You mentioned that you're a stat head. I know you are. Minnesota had 111 yards of offense at the half. They finished the third quarter with 110. And the game, they were, I think, at 163. So I think it wound up being a total of 51 yards in the second half. But I looked at the halftime stats. It was 111 at half. And then I looked at the third quarter. I was like, wait, they had -1 yard in the third quarter. Is that right? And I believe it is. That defense is absolutely nasty. And even more than that, and I wrote about it in my immediately after the game analysis, what they're doing in the red zone right now is absolutely insane. It is the Trestle bend but don't break, but they don't really bend that much. There's not a lot of bending to go along with the don't break, but once they bend a little, they stiffen up something fierce. And they just do not let them score in the red zone. It's outstanding to see. On the flip side of that, I would say that they took the reins off of Julian a little bit tonight. We talked last week. I said that last week was probably his shortest depth of target on the season. I think tonight was probably his longest depth of target. whether they were completed or not. And of course, with 85% completion rate, he completed a lot, 24 or 28. But I think tonight was probably his longest. And then the last piece is, I love the trick play on special teams. The punt return popped you for a nice long one. That was fantastic. Guess what? Those don't work all the time. And if you are relying on trick plays for punt returns, you're in trouble. And I don't think Ryan Day puts enough emphasis anywhere on special teams. Place kicking, you saw it tonight, another missed field goal. And without a trick play on punt returns, you would probably see a very pedestrian series of punt returns tonight. I think those are my big takeaways. Great defense, a loosening and better, more maturing offense. And we really, really need to put focus on special teams because it doesn't really appear to be there beyond, hey, look, we had this trick play. Trick plays are not a plan, my man. Trick plays are a way to hey, that's a great line, by the way. Best transfer portal loss ever. Trick plays get you by, but they are not something to rely on. And we got to figure out special teams. And I don't know if that means make it more like Urban Meyer, where he took over when needed and took over a lot. Whether or not we have to put Caleb Downs back there again on punt returns, we certainly need to do better on place kicking because our place kicking has cost us games. May I dial into the playoff game against Georgia as the clock struck midnight and we turned into a pumpkin. You make that field goal, you probably have a national championship, and Ryan Day has 2 under his belt and not just 1. So you've got to fix that. And how after losing that game against Georgia, you don't go out and find the best kickers and bring them in is beyond me. I can't figure that out. Other than that, I don't have a lot to complain about. Pre-snap penalties, a couple of those, false starts, stuff like that. Got to tidy that up. That's nothing but focus. And kudos to the crowd for being into it tonight. A timeout before the first play of the game. I'm trying to remember the last time.
I of all the things that Ross Bjork has done, I think I like giving – I like most of the ideas that they came up with, Ross and his staff. I love giving the crowd a Buckeye leaf if they cause a timeout or like an illegal procedure. I love that. You know what else I love, Peter? This freshman class, this true freshman class. I already loved it coming into tonight. I was like, we already knew it was a great class. Number 4 in the country. I was thinking, probably a little underrated, actually. When you look at the star rating, they had the number 2, like, average rating in the country. Devin Sanchez, Bo Jackson. How about Zion Grady tonight? Zion Grady played a ton tonight and looked good.
So it's great to see Sanchez in there early on and Bo Jackson stepping up more and more as he gets, he's becoming more and more RB1. You heard Sanchez's name a few times. On the flip side of that RB1, I feel, and I may be wrong, but I feel that I put it in my stock up, stock down on James Peoples. He gets less and less time when it matters. All kinds of garbage time tonight. Looked great in it, but when the game is when it matters early on, you see less and less of him. At least in my opinion, I'd have to look at play-by-play to see how many times he was in there. He wasn't getting a lot of handoffs and didn't have much of a factor in the game until it was scrub time. And I have to think that you're probably looking at a guy that's sinking further and further down into the realms of RB3.
My guy Carlos Rodriguez is exactly right on X. How about Carnell Tate from right there in Chicago, where Carlos is?
Yeah, what a fantastic night for him. Wrote about that also. I mean, he was an absolute dude tonight. He takes advantage. Like, you're going to get open, then so much attention is going to be thrown over to J.J. Smith, and rightfully so. He's the best offensive player in the nation. I have no doubt of that. But you got to take advantage of those. And what's he do with that? He sets a career high in receptions, a career high in yards, and was absolutely outstanding tonight. I mean, what a great job of taking advantage of the opportunity. And so many times you see players that have the opportunity and they don't step up. I'm not calling out Lincoln Keyholes, but he had a chance to get that first down, read it wrong.
Like,
and
I'm not calling him
turf
out
monster
as I call him out.
Yes. Well, but he had a chance. Like, okay, so he had a chance to convert, right? We had Julian saying converted on the timeout, right? Which tells me we don't really need a package. We don't really need a package for Lincoln. It's nice to do because he's been a loyal Buckeye. He's gone through a lot, and he does have athletic talent. I don't mean to take away anything from him, but he was given the chance, and he's been given the chance a couple of times this year to make that package work. And this time tonight, he read the wrong hole, or he bounced outside when he shouldn't have. The turf monster reached up and grabbed him, and we didn't get the first down. And it's one of those things like, dude, you're going to be in for one or two plays. Aside from scrub time, you're going to be in for one or two plays in a game. Dude, you got to make the most of that. How do you not do that? Like, you got to be ready when the time is right. And he wasn't, man. Dave Biddle. I was a below average high school basketball player. My senior year in high school, we played a triple overtime game. I was an end of the bench guy, right? Everybody fouled out. And we come down to the end of the game. We're in triple overtime, and the coach looks at me and says, I guess it's you. There's no one else on the bench, right? No joke. He says, I guess it's you. So I go out there. There's no one else. Everybody else had fouled out. It was insane. It was like me and the water boy.
Cheerleaders, you got to go in there.
It's me and the water boy from Hoosiers to choose from. Those are the two. And he looks at me and says, with 2 minutes left, says, hey, looks like it's you. I go in, I score 4 points, grab 2 rebounds, we win the game. Like, I am below average, but I took advantage of the situation, and I made sure I was ready to go in anytime there was, hey, if there's a triple overtime game, put me in. I'll take care of business. Lincoln had a third down that he didn't convert. He should have taken advantage of it. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is I love Julian saying, and I'm saying I love my man in Amsterdam. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. My man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, brother. Let's bring in Matt Baxendell, the people's champ. What's up, champ? How you doing?
You know, Dave, I think it's hilarious that we're all talking about that third down and Ryan Day being mad at Lincoln. I didn't read his lips the same way at all after that. His lips to me was very much a what the bleep was that, Brian? So I think he disagreed with Heartline and the package that they used after the timeout. So other than that, there's not much to complain about from Ohio State perspective tonight, Dave.
I mean, I hear you. That never should have been a timeout, though.
No, stupid.
I was like, well, good on Minnesota for calling a timeout there. And then they're like, oh, timeout Ohio State. I'm like, and I know. I'm sure Ryan Day would be the first to tell you that's embarrassing. When you get the first down and right before then you call a timeout, I guarantee he's embarrassed about it. But, like, I'll tell you what, man, I like the fact that they're, like, running Julian Sand on QB sneaks. I like the fake on the punt. I don't think they're going to do that again, but everybody has to prepare for it. I love where this team – we can pick nits, and we will. I love where this team's at. Defending national champs, number one team in the nation, and they look like it. Like, there's nobody else in this nation that I would take over this Ohio State team.
Dave, my only complaint tonight is Minnesota missed that field goal late because my exact pick in the roundtable Friday was 42-6. And I would have looked really, really smart here. So it's the first time I've ever rooted for somebody else to score on Ohio State. So
that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, if you would have nailed that 42-6, like exactly, that'd been pretty impressive. Close enough.
I would have been a 42-3. I still feel pretty good about my thought process.
You still had the best prediction out of all of us.
Oh, for sure. I felt a little bit like a jackass disrespecting an opponent, but the reality is what you hit on is the nail on the head, man. Like, this is the best football team in the country up to this point in the year, and I don't think it's particularly close otherwise. The defense has given up 2 touchdowns in 5 games. This is one of the best pursuit defenses I've ever seen from Ohio State. I mean, they swarmed to the football. There was one play in the second half today that I believe it was Styles who made the tackle on a running back. And then the next 2 guys who were there, like Styles made the play, but it wasn't sure. The next two there were defensive ends. That was just impressive to me, that how well this team pursues the football. And tonight we finally let Sayin cook. Like people have been saying forever, let Julian cook. We let him cook tonight, and it was impressive. But this is the best defense in the country, and the offense is every bit as dangerous. It's scary, man. This is I am fully convinced this team can repeat as national champions. Yeah, they're obviously going to need a bounce or two to go their way, but as of right now, this is the best football team in the country. And I know Oregon and Miami have been impressive too, but right now I take Ohio State over everyone.
So you're not taking Penn State, is what you're saying?
I think James Franklin officially opened the door for people to make an argument for him not to be the head coach at Penn State after this year. Dave, if they finish 8-4 this year, because they have to play Indiana and Ohio State still, does anybody think they're going to win those games?
No.
So if they finish 8-4 with a national title or bust team, isn't this the point where you go, the bargain with Franklin is he wins 10 to 11 games. We're going to make the playoffs almost every year and hope something works out for us once. Well, if he can't even make the playoffs with this team at Penn State, and this was the first time in 40 years a team 0-4 or worse beat a top 10 team. It hasn't happened since 1985. They said that on the broadcast tonight.
I thought this was Penn State. I said it on Friday. I feel like an idiot. I was like, this is Penn State. They were favored by 24.5. I picked Penn State to cover that. And I find it hilarious that they not only failed to cover that, but lost the game. I was like, get good week for Penn State. Tough loss. UCLA's terrible. Fast track. They'll go out there and they'll win that game by 40. No, I think this might be it for James Franklin unless he somehow turns this around.
I think at this point, the whole argument for Franklin, I'll talk about this in the bucket tomorrow for those of you who are tuning in and curious what I'm about to write about other than Ohio State. Franklin's argument is he's a better version to Penn State than Bo Pelini was at Nebraska. He's going to win you 10 games every year. He will get you into the position to be in a playoff every year. He recruits his brains up, and he loses the big game. And it's hard to get rid of that guy if he's beating everybody but the big game. When you start losing to schmucks like UCLA, who, God bless them, lost to New Mexico this year, right? They lost to Nevada this year. That's bad. That's a bad football team. They've already fired their coach, and we're barely into October. And that team beat Penn State. James Franklin is officially in a position where if you finish 8-4, you should be fired. You straight up should be fired.
Especially this year, yeah. I mean, as you said, people picked them to win. Most people picked them to win the national championship.
I'm the stupidest person alive for picking them to win the Big Ten. I'm at least smart enough to have said there's no way they're going to win a national title.
Phil Steele did the same thing. So you're not stupid. It was just, in one respect, it seemed lazy. It's like, well, Michigan did it, then Ohio State did it, so now it's Penn State's turn, right? Big Ten team, veteran, you bring all your guys back that could have been second, third, fourth round picks.
Yep.
Boom. You beef up your staff. It seemed like a lazy argument, but then like if you like squinted, okay, I can kind of see it. I think those of us that know Penn State really well are like, I'll be shocked if they actually do it. But again, though, man, I didn't think there was any way they were going to lose to UCLA.
Dude, wow. I have paralysis by analysis myself because I said there's no way they're going to win at Ohio State, but then there's a rematch in the Big Ten title game likely, and that made me think Ohio State was historically speaking and statistically speaking likely to lose the rematch. That's why I picked Penn State. That was stupid, man. That was stupid. I was this close to picking Oregon over Penn State last week and back in the summer. I should have known better. You never trust James Franklin in a big moment. They will 1,000% lose to Ohio State on November 1st. Like, whatever the money line is, put your mortgage on it because they're not going to win that football game. Don't actually put your mortgage on it, but, like, they're going to lose that football game.
Put somebody else's mortgage on it, not yours.
Yeah, access to another person's cash is the best way to gamble. But
so Ohio State entered this game number 1 in the nation in points allowed on defense, 5.5. That'll get improved. They gave up 3 tonight. Final stat, 474 yards for Ohio State, 162 for Minnesota. My goodness gracious, man. They lose 8 draft picks off this defense. They lose their defensive coordinator, and they improve defensively. It's amazing, Bax.
It's incredible. And I think it comes back to, you hear in baseball all the time, you're going to be strong up the middle. Ohio State, they are strong up the middle. You have two linebackers that look like first rounders in terms of athleticism. Like if Arvell Reese isn't a top 10 pick when he comes out, I don't know what the evaluators are watching. That is, we said this since he was a freshman. We're like, he has every instinct to be a linebacker. It's just natural. He doesn't think, he goes, right? He is special from that. And then you realize all the physical gifts that have grown with him as he's been in college. That guy's a top 10 pick, period. You have two linebackers that move like that, and you have Caleb Downs behind him. Everything goes from that. Like, and you watch this D line, and like one of our big concerns you and I talked about repeatedly all offseason was who's going to be the fill-ins at D tackle. What are we going to do at D tackle? Well, once you stop the run on first or second down and it gets the long, you got McDonald, or McDonald's like the only one who even stays on sometimes. You normally you'll have Caden Curry slide inside. Caden Curry runs like a linebacker. Like, he's incredible. Like, you and I have been the heads of the Caden Curry fan club for 3 years now, but he's even better than we thought he was once he's gotten to be the full-time starter. Bo Atkinson has come in. There's never a better transfer decision in the country this year than Bo Atkinson leaving North Carolina to come to Ohio State. Like, my goodness gracious. And like,
Right.
And we didn't even have Kenyatta tonight after he bonked his head early. And I'm like, all right, let him heal up. Like, we need him for Illinois next week. This Ohio State defense can pursue the football, and they tackle in waves. It's an impressive defense, man. All those yards Minnesota got, half of them were their first drive.
First drive. Yep, that's the thing, man. And I this might have been bravado, but I literally was saying it out loud. I'm like, enjoy that field goal. You're not going to get anything else. I might have believed it. I might not have. I'll act like I believed it. Listen, man, I mean, like, geez, I couldn't be more impressed with where this team is at right now. And I almost hate to say this. I said this earlier in the show. Julian Sayin reminds me of a guy that used to rip my heart out when I was a kid, Joe Montana. What do you think about that comparison?
Yeah. Similar size, similar movement, hits balls that you can't believe come out of his hand. The throw he made tonight to Max Clare when he was getting hit in the mouth, that was perfect. Like, that tells you a lot about that player there, because that's not a throw a lot of quarterbacks can make. And by the way, the funniest thing is after the game, his hair's perfect. It's like he didn't even have to like go out and put an effort in. He's a classic California sunshine superstar. This kid leads the country in completion percentage right now. And tonight was the first night we really took the wheels, like the training wheels, off. They took the shrink wrap off of him. They let him kind of cook. And he went out and looked like as good as anybody in the country. And yes, he has Carnell. Yes, he has Jeremiah. But he hit every throw. That first long bomb to Tate that was for 48 yards, that's a Russell Wilson sky bomb that dropped right into the pocket. That was a perfect throw. And he threw virtually everything in catchable position. This kid is everything they've hyped him up to be. And he has the receivers to make him look the part. And one of these days when Bo Jackson starts breaking the big runs instead of having the last guy get him, this offense, as scary as it sounds, might be better than last year's. And the defense might be better than last year's. The defense is shaping up to almost surely be better than last year's. This is a really weird, like, I almost am like skeptical because I don't want to get ahead of myself because I'm like, they're too good. I don't believe it because they look that good. They're allowing less than 5 points a game.
It looks like Dynasty activated. And like, I know.
It looks like the college football video game right now.
5 games into it, but like won the national championship last year. Number 1 in the nation right now, and they look like it. It's not like they're number 1. No, they are the best team in the nation. Doesn't mean they're for sure going to win it, but my God, it feels like Dynasty unlocked.
It's unreal.
Unbelievable, man. And I'm glad they're done like screwing around with running back. Like, Bo Jackson is clearly the best running back on this team. They're done with the window dressing. Like, oh, well, it can be the 6th man like in basketball. Screw that. You're a starter for a reason. Bo Jackson was a starter tonight. 13 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. It's not even that. He gets hit. He falls forward. C.J. Donaldson is like the least powerful power back I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's not a power back. You can't just go by, well, he's 230 pounds. He's a power back. No, he's not. He gets knocked backwards all the time. I'm glad they're done like messing around with this crap.
Yeah.
He also got 3 carries tonight. He did have a touchdown. 3 carries for 3 yards. Bo Jackson is RB1. I love it.
And the reality, too, is like at the end of the first quarter when C.J. Donaldson got chance number 2 to pound that ball into the end zone, the first one, if you're a power back, has to be in. You can't have that tackle at the half-yard line. That has to be in the end zone. And I tell you what, Bo Jackson extended himself parallel to the ground for his touchdown. That is what elite tailbacks do. That is what tailbacks that smell the goal line do. Their body's parallel to the ground. They don't touch a knee. They extend the ball, 2 hands on it, and they score. Bo Jackson is the best tailback on this roster. And I think we finally got to the point where we're done messing around with it. And the reality too tonight was Dave, again, I think he had like 12 or 13 carries for something like 55, 60 yards, give or take, right? But how many of those carries at the end of it did he go forward? How many did he knock guys backwards? How many did you think, oh man, if he breaks one more tackle, that's 80 yards? He's right. He's the scariest runner with the ball in his hands we've had since Zeke. And he's the best freshman tailback we've had since Mo. Watching him right now.
Dobbins was good.
Yeah, but Dobbins didn't have that same, oh crap, here it goes to the house aspect to him.
Yeah, Travion was good as a freshman. Dobbins was good as a freshman. But Travion peaked as a senior. JK peaked as a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Bo peaks as a junior and just keeps – he's awesome as a freshman. Just keep getting better as a sophomore and the junior. I love Bo Jackson.
I'll go back a little step here. It's the best freshman since Beanie. He has the opportunity to be the best freshman at tailback in my mind since Mo. But Mo is the ceiling. Beanie was very good. But Beanie had fumble issues, if you remember, and Beanie had a true partner in Pittman. I mean, we're going back 20 years now for all the young bucks out there watching. It tells you how old I'm getting. My beard's getting a little gray. So
Bo Jackson reminds me of Pittman, but bigger. I know it's a 25. You're going to say that's just because they wear the 25. I'm telling you, he reminds me of Pittman, but bigger.
I think his ceiling's higher than Pittman's.
I do.
There's no knock on the great Antonio Pittman.
No, I agree. He's a better version of Antonio Pittman and bigger because Pittman was like 195 as a freshman, but he was a tough SOB. Antonio Pittman was a tough dude and ended up being a great running back at Ohio State. Twice got 1,000 yards. Sophomore and junior, he was good as a freshman, didn't play all that much. Bo Jackson's a better version of that, no doubt about it.
Bo Jackson's going to be 1,000-yard tailback as a freshman, no question about it, I think, if he stays healthy.
All right, let's get my guys from Ohio Stadium in here, Bax. I appreciate it, my friend. I will talk to you. Do you want to come on the show Wednesday?
Hey, anytime you want me, Dave, I'm available.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, and I'm just going to say this while Patty's on here. Minnesota was a missed field goal away from me nailing the score on the head, so I feel pretty good about my predictions in the roundtable.
Well done.
Will Tom Herman's wife be calling you tonight?
I hope not.
Okay.
That'd be weird.
That happened, but that's a different story.
I thought you were hoping she would. I don't know.
I'm a happily married man, sir. I'll let you know if that changes.
Good stuff, man. He is
Go Bucks.
Champ. He is Matt Baxendell. You can catch his column every Sunday on Bucknuts. It is The Bucket. And now we bring in live from the Ohio Stadium, Patrick Murphy. Patrick, good to see you. Your main takeaways from the press conference. What do we need to know?
Well, first of all, I apologize that this is not as picturesque as last week at Husky Stadium. It's still pretty cool, though. Glad to be back at the Horseshoe tonight.
Looks way better than anything in the state of Washington, in my opinion.
All right, cool. Ryan Day, very much, I don't know, cautiously positive about his team. I think he is well aware of the fact that they need to continue to do this. And I think this weekend was a reminder of that, right? You look across the sport, whether teams were getting upset or teams are getting closer than expected scores. It was one of those weekends, right? And then Minnesota comes down, drives down the field. He talked about how no one blinks. Like they just handle their business. They know each day they need to get better. The focus is on improving every day. The focus is on them. And he said, look, none of this matters if we don't go and win at Illinois next week. So I really like the approach of this team. And that was something that came up quite a bit in the press conference. We also talked to Julian Sayin. He was talking about just how detailed you have to be to get some of these plays to work. Like, it's not just, hey, Carnell runs deep and I throw him the ball. That's part of it. But the offensive line has to block. Other guys are doing things to attract attention, right? So it's all about how it works as a collective. And he, as he normally is, very willing to deflect, put it on the other guys and things like that. Humble kid. So I think that's pretty cool of him. Steve can tell you more about this, but he asked Ryan Day because his winning percentage now moves him ahead of Newt Rockne for the all-time winning percentage. Now, he doesn't qualify for the NCAA mark. Yes, it is pretty good. He doesn't qualify for the mark because he hasn't coached for 10 years yet. But Steve asked him about that, and I'll let you ask Steve about it because he gave a pretty humorous response as the final question.
We'll get the wagon in here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll let him tell that story.
Yeah, and if wagon can text me if he wants to jump in earlier or later. Wagon can probably hear me right now. He's like, nah, you guys just talk amongst yourselves for a while and then get me in here in about 5 or 6 minutes. I hear you, Wagon. All right, Pat, we have a question here. I'm curious about this myself. This is from Rick on YouTube. Hey, Patrick, did Kenyatta have a stinger? It looked like it was a head injury. What are you hearing?
Yeah, they didn't say anything. Coach Day said that he was on the sideline, he was moving around, he was doing fine, but they'd have an update soon, which I imagine means that we'll hear about it on Tuesday, if we hear much about it at all. But yeah, I think you're probably right. I think did the broadcast say stinger? That's what one of my buddies texted me, that it was a stinger.
Right. And as soon as they said that, I was like, that reminded me of do you remember the Michigan State game, Ohio State, Michigan State? It was Urban's first year when Braxton.
Yeah.
And it was Golston got knocked out. It was friendly fire. They were trying to take out Braxton Miller. He got down, and the safety came in and just knocked Golston from Michigan State out cold. And he was knocked out cold on top of Braxton Miller. And then the announcers were like, yeah, Michigan State said he got the wind knocked out of him. He just went with it like it was a fact. I'm like, he got the wind knocked out of him? He was unconscious for 2 minutes. I remember playing it he was laying on Braxton for 120 seconds. That's what that reminded me of. He had a stinger. Oh, you mean he got a concussion again? Here's what I'm worried about. Kenyatta had a concussion earlier this year. They didn't call it a concussion. Sure looked like it was.
Yeah.
Another one. That concerns me.
Yeah, I think, look, if you're getting these, everybody's kind of different. The brain injuries are weird look, I'm no medical expert, but having gone through them in the past and covering various sports for so long, it's nothing to mess around with, right? So hopefully it was nothing that serious. He was obviously down for a few minutes, but he was moving. It wasn't like he was out cold, I don't think. So
right, that's true.
Yeah, so I think, and he came out of the medical tent. He did not have his helmet, but he was on the side. They didn't need to take him to the locker room and get him out of the noise and things like that. So positive. But you're right. If that's 2 concussions over the course of a month, not good for Kenyatta Jackson. But hopefully he can bounce back. But look, I think the guys that came in, Bo Atkinson, Zion Grady, who played a good amount, I thought both stepped it. It wasn't like you all of a sudden noticed that Kenyatta Jackson wasn't out there. And that's credit to the depth that they have on the defensive line.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Zion Grady. I continue to be so impressed with this freshman class. You didn't need anybody to come in like JJ last year and be a starter, be one of the main guys, but you needed guys to add depth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, and Bo Jackson actually is a starter. Zion Grady playing a ton tonight. Devin Sanchez has been playing a ton. We saw Quincy Porter out there. We've seen Nate Roberts. We've seen Riley Pettijohn. We've seen Fahim Delane. I love this freshman class, man. I know they're ranked 4th in the nation. I feel like that might have been a little underrated. I know they had the 2nd best average player rating in the country.
Yeah.
This freshman class is delivering for sure for the Buckeyes.
No doubt. And you brought up Devin Sanchez. There was a play, at least one, it might have happened other times, where he, based on the way the offense moved, he shifted and was the deep safety on one of the plays. How many freshmen are they going to ask? Hey, you're out there at corner. No, wait, they motion. So everyone moves, and now you have to shift and play the back end of the defense. I don't think you ask many guys to do something like that or the equivalent at your position. Obviously they trust him because he was playing against Texas, but to have him do that, that's an understanding of the defense that's a little bit beyond what I would expect of a guy who just played in his 4th game of his college career. So pretty impressed. 5th game. Yeah, you're right. So pretty impressive stuff. But yeah, I think, look, Kenyatta Jackson goes down. Obviously, Bo Atkinson's the next one in, but do you trust Zion Grady to go in and play? Those are real snaps, right? This wasn't a blowout at that point in time. A lot of guys, Nate Roberts, the The block, I know last week he missed the block. I know that was a big thing, but I think he's been pretty solid at that position. And that's not a position he plays. He wasn't recruited to play fullback, but he's doing a pretty good job. I would like them to hand him the ball one time when he's back there. Like,
why not,
him,
right? To break the tendencies? Right.
I have to imagine. I don't remember what he did. I don't remember watching a ton outside of his tight end stuff in high school, but like he probably carried the ball before. In high school when you're that guy, I mean, why not? And I think that would be interesting. We did see a little bit of trick plays today. They had Carnell Tate line up in the backfield, motion into the backfield at one point. And then I think it was Bo Jackson who was the fullback that they handed the ball to.
Donaldson was.
Was it Donaldson? Okay.
He barely got it. That was your clue that it was Donaldson, not Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Interesting. Got it easily.
Yeah.
Donaldson barely got it.
Interesting with Donaldson, 3 carries. His last carry was that touchdown. He didn't touch the ball at all in the second half, I'm pretty sure, which
I know is good, man. He's not good.
I don't like the way that they call the plays for him. Like last week against Washington, when they let him bounce it outside, he was hitting for 8-9 yards. And I think if you're just going to ram him up the middle a lot, like it's not pretty. You're right. And I've seen you on social media, like Bo Atkinson is doing that at a better level. But I think there are better ways could use him. Or Bo Jackson. Yeah, sorry. I'm all over the place with these Bows.
No. There's a lot going on. Like, it's late.
But back to the trick plays, the throw, so to speak, the lateral from Brandon Innes to Lorenzo Styles. Ryan Day got asked about that. He said, well, Brandon was a quarterback in high school because they had to put him at quarterback at one point because they didn't have another guy. And he was more of a runner than a thrower. And he's like, as you all know, Lorenzo was a wide receiver at Notre Dame. He's like, so that's something we've kind of had in there. If it's on the right hash mark at a right distance, we think we can do it. It didn't hit for a touchdown, but it put the Buckeyes in good field position. They scored a touchdown a few plays later. If we're going to talk about the special teams so negatively, which I think they've deserved, missed another field goal tonight, though it was a long one. I think we have to give credit where credit is due. That was a nice play. And Ryan was asked, do you think about just keeping those? And he was like, our job is to go out there and score, move the ball. So, we're not hiding things. We're just executing. And I look, I'm okay with that. It also gives defenses and special teams and stuff things to think about for now, right? When you do things like that. So, I thought there was some interesting stuff tonight.
I know Steve Helwagen wants to get in here and talk about his good friend James Franklin, so I will let you go, my friend. Good stuff out of Patrick Murphy live from the Horseshoe.
Yes. What a debacle. I only saw the end of the game, but I was tracking it throughout the day. That was nuts. Our friend Jenny, who we both saw today, she's concerned that this is going to make Penn State angry, and now they're going to come into the Horseshoe. And I was like, well, there's like 3 weeks before that. They'll calm down.
Well, you tell Jenny that I told her that, I don't know what their interim head coach is going to be thinking coming into the Horseshoe, but I don't like their chances.
Everyone I saw that covers Penn State was saying it's not happening, at least not yet. So
no, he's not going to get fired yet. I have 65 million reasons he's not. I don't think they have too many oil barons in Happy Valley to pay that buyout.
Yeah, I imagine if this continues to not go, if they lose it to Ohio State, they don't make the playoff, there could be certainly this offseason that's going to be a topic of conversation.
They're not,
but we're not a Penn State show. We don't need to go down that road too far.
No, I like our guys at Penn State. Like the guys from 24/7 Sports that cover Penn State, I like all of them. They're all good guys. All good guys. I feel bad for them, but oh well. All right, I'll let you go, sir. Thank you, Patrick Murphy. I appreciate it.
Yep. See you later, Dave.
See you on Tuesday at the Ryan Day press conference. Let's bring in my man in Pataskala, Steve Helwagen. Good to see you, sir.
What's going on?
So your biggest takeaway, I know Pat said you asked a question of Ryan Day. Take us through that.
Oh, it was a fire drill because you got to imagine, everybody's frantically trying to get this over with so everybody can leave. It's 42-3. So, and the way they do it, they go around the room and they ask questions and but they wanted to get him out of here so they could put Sand up there so Sand could go home, so they get down to the end and it dawned on me that he just got this win to move past Newt Rockne. And so I said to Mike Bassford, the guy who's running the press conference, the guy who works with Jerry Emig, I got to ask a question, Mike. It's about Newt Rockne. I said it like out loud while Ryan Day's talking, and I think Mike got the idea. You've been there a million times where we've sat there and like, I got to ask a question.
Yeah, right.
So I got the microphone and I said, according to the Ohio State notes, the win tonight gives you a winning percentage that is greater than Newt Rockne, who is regarded as the winningest coach by percentage in college football history. And then I kind of popped his balloon and said, well, you don't qualify because you haven't done 10 years, but you seem to be on a pretty good trajectory right now. How did this all come about? And he's like, well, I can tell you this, I've coached my last game at Ohio State tonight because I'm going to, essentially going to retire with the record. So, and that cracked everybody up. He was,
well,
and he was,
maybe,
42-3, and he is ticking down things they did wrong. Like Bo Jackson reached the ball out one time. It could have been a fumble. Keenholz took the wrong hole on one of the plays, the running plays, maybe the one he got snuffed on, and said, that those plays could cost us a game sometime if we don't get them right. So, I mean, he was serious, as serious could be after they won 42-3. So that brought a little bit of levity, into the room. And, he deserves to take a bow. What he's done has been nothing short of remarkable to have this winning percentage. I think it's right around 900. I don't know. It's somewhere between 890 and 911, somewhere in that range. I think it's 891. So, I mean, he when you've beaten the record that's held by Newt Rockne, obviously he's not there with 10 years yet, but it's going pretty well for him right now. And obviously they got a tough one next week. I think Illinois, kind of got shocked to their senses with that loss at Indiana, 63-10, and they've played pretty good football, USC and Purdue, other than they gave up a bunch of points to Purdue today, but, whatever. They went on the road and they won. But so they're in deep next week. That's kind of how I look at it, going on the road. These teams going on the road, it's been pretty tough for them. So, other than, OSU went to Washington last week and won. But, a lot of happiness in this room today. Carnell Tate, he was asked, do you feel you and Jeremiah Smith are the two best wide receivers in the country? He looked right at the person, asked the question, said, I know we are. I mean, that was his reply. And when you hear somebody say that and they back it up game in and game out, that was his second 100-yard game of the season, a career high, only the third 100-yard game in his career. And I think Smith was a little bit short of 100 yards. But in 5 games, they both have 2 100-yard games. And Smith made some great plays today, no question about it.
So damn impressive. Hey, man, this Penn State loss to UCLA, I'm trying to compare it to something. I thought Penn State was going to – I shouldn't even say this out loud, but I've already said it.
I know what it compares to. I don't want to talk about it.
Go ahead.
Well, Ohio State losing to Michigan here last year, a 20-point favorite. I mean, Penn State was a 24-point favorite.
24.5-point favorite, and I picked Penn State to cover that spread. I thought they would go out there and just smoke UCLA.
Down 20 at the half and got it within 7, but then couldn't get a stop. Our boy Jim Knowles, man. What they say with him is it takes 3 years for him to kind of really cinch that thing in. And now we're seeing where they get those numbers. I mean, it's scientifically proven at this point.
$3 million a year, and it'll take you till year 3.
It's going to be a $9 million investment till you see a return on that. I'm just giving Jim a bunch of crap, whatever. But hey, speaking of defense, want to hit this nail on the head real quick. Our crack staff has researched and found Ohio State has started the season with 5 games under 10 points allowed on defense. First time that they've had a string that long since 1979. Earl's team that went 11-0 and lost USC in the Rose Bowl, they did it 6 consecutive games. They also had some really good defensive teams in the 73-74 seasons. I didn't go back that far. Somebody tried to tell me it was 2006, but they only had 4 in a row in 2006. So, go back to 1979, what is that? That's 46 years ago. So yeah, that's that'll tell you what Matty Patricia's been doing here. They moved it right down the field, got that field goal, start the game. You're like, ooh, Drake Lindsay is for real. No. Ohio State's defense is for real. So
The best defense in the country. All right, my friend, I'll get you out of here. I appreciate your time. Any parting thoughts before I let you out of here?
Just sit back and enjoy the ride, because defense travels. So they're going to go to Illinois. The defense is going to play lights out at Illinois, and probably, I think Illinois will probably get double-digit points in that game if I had to guess. But, if they don't, my God, what a incredible occurrence that would be to shut down, what's probably going to be a top 15 or top 20 team in their stadium, if that happens next week. So, next week, what a triple header. My God, what is it? OSU, Illinois to lead it out. Then Oregon and Indiana is the 3:30 game on CBS. Everybody, CBS should still have the nothing thing. Number 2 versus number 6 next week. There, folks, both undefeated from the Big Ten. So take a chomp of that. And then, the nightcap are 2 of the great brand names in the history of the sport, Michigan and USC. And man, that's Big Ten football. Nobody else has 3 games like that on network television every Saturday. I mean, I guess ABC may have an occasional SEC triple header, but not very often, because they got to squeeze in some ACC and Big 12, crud in there too. But Big Ten's getting the exposure, and next week will be a red letter day for the conference, and certainly for the Buckeyes if they can beat Illinois on the road.
My guy Steve Helwagen is still basking. Great stuff, Wagon.
Still basking,
man. Still
all
basking.
right, boys, girls, get some sleep. We got a big week.
There you go. He is the Wagon, Steve Helwagen. Thank you very much to my good friend Steve. All right, let's have some parting thoughts here. Appreciate all you guys riding with me tonight. I appreciate all my guests. We had J Buck, we had Heater, we had Bax, we had Patrick Murphy, and we had Wagon. I love my guys. All right, Shelby on YouTube says Sand is one of the top quarterbacks. Tired of the disrespect. I hear you. I saw a story. One of the guys who does a great job for ESPN, Bill Connolly. We're going to hopefully have him on the podcast next week. He does a great job. And he even said, he ranked Sand as the 11th best quarterback in the country. He ranked every quarterback in the country in order. And he ranked him 11th. And people were mad about it. He was it's just hard to tell after 4 games because of, and he actually made a good argument about it. I bet you anything Sand won't be 11th. And that, I don't think this is exactly what Shelby was talking about. It's probably just overall people not giving Sand the respect he deserves. That's just the example I have. I bet you anything Bill Conley, when we talk to him next week on the podcast, will be yeah, he's a top 5 quarterback. I couldn't be more impressed with him. For me to compare him to Joe Montana, as I've told you guys, I almost hate to do that because not a big Joe Montana fan here. But no, I respect the heck out of Joe Montana. But he reminds me so much of Joe Montana in every way. Just cool, calm, and collected. I remember, unfortunately, that 1989 Super Bowl, 88 season, Bengals, 49ers. Bengals are leading late. 49ers have to get a touchdown. Bengals are up, by 4? And they have to go down and score a touchdown. And they had 85 yards to go. Joe Montana's joking with his players. Oh, is that John Candy in the stands there? And they all talk about it afterwards. I was just I can't believe he was looking in the stands oh, look, John Candy's in the stands. That's how cool Joe Montana was. That's Julian saying. I'm not saying he's pointing out people in the stands. Oh, is that LeBron James there? But it wouldn't surprise him if he would in a big game. And couldn't be more impressed with Julian saying his accuracy. I keep saying this. His accuracy has to be the most impressive thing about him, right? And you could easily make the argument it is. I could easily make the argument that it is. I'm most impressed with his poise. And you could say it's a tie. I'm impressed with his poise. I'm impressed with his accuracy. I'm impressed with his quick release, his processing skills. I think I'm most impressed with his poise. For a redshirt freshman, to be as cool, calm, and collected as he is at all times. And we can easily California, cool, okay. There's plenty of quarterbacks from California that wouldn't be that cool. Couldn't be more impressed. And you got, I mean, Ryan Day's job that he does with quarterbacks is next level. Think about what he's done at Ohio State. He comes in 2017. JT Barrett has by far his best year as a passing quarterback. By far. One game in particular, that Penn State game, he turned into he looked like Aaron Rodgers out there or something. I almost said Joe Montana again. I don't want to give him too many props on the show. I know it was one game, but JT Barrett against Penn State that year, that didn't even look like JT Barrett. And give JT most of the respect there, but Ryan Day can coach his quarterbacks up. What happened the next year? Dwayne Haskins comes in. Best season ever by an Ohio State quarterback passing-wise. Nearly 5,000 yards passing, 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Dwayne Haskins, first-round pick. Justin Fields comes in the next year. People are like, well, he's a running quarterback, can't really throw it well. Had a great year in 2019. Fantastic year. I believe he was a Heisman finalist. And also great in 2020. 2021, C.J. Stroud. 2022, C.J. Stroud. Phenomenal. 2023, Kyle McCord. Let's skip over that. And it wasn't even that bad if you look at Kyle McCord. That shows you how that's Ryan Day's one bad year with a quarterback, and he picked him over J.J. McCarthy. You're allowed a mulligan when you keep hitting holes in one all the time and Eagles left and right. And then what happens? Will Howard. He brings in Will Howard. People are like, Will Howard? Wasn't he beat out by the guy with the weird hair from Kansas State? Maybe. Avery Johnson. How'd that work out? Will Howard has a career year, and then especially in the playoffs, looked phenomenal. Reminded me of Joe Burrow in the playoffs. And then now look at Julian Sayin. Nobody expected this. Nobody predicted this from Julian Sayin. I certainly didn't. I said I thought he would have a good year. I was questioning when, how early. Right away. Because I'm convinced against Texas, if they needed him to air it out, he could have. He was 13-20 in that game, but he had 4 dropped passes from his receivers, so he'd been 17-20, and then those drives would have kept going. So who knows what his stats would have looked like. So impressed with Sayin. I love it. And, it doesn't hurt the fact that he has this great offensive line blocking for him. I love this O-line. It certainly doesn't hurt. He's got the best wide receiver in the country, best college football player in the country in Jeremiah Smith, the best number 2 wide receiver in the country in Carnell Tate. He'd be the number 1 on what? I don't want to be hyperbole, 95%. I'm not talking about the top 25 teams. I'm not talking about everybody in college football. Of the top 25 teams in college football, Carnell Tate would be the number 1 receiver on 90% of them, 95% of them, at least, in my opinion. He's the number 2. Max Clare, they're starting to unleash Max Clare a little bit. I'm telling you, my friends, I know you're excited. Get more excited. The dynasty has been unlocked. National champs last year, best team in the country this year. I don't see a team that gives me any fear. Doesn't mean Ohio State's going to run the table. Anything can happen in football, but this is the best team in the country. If they go back-to-back, you want to talk about still basking? We're going to be basking till the end of time. All right. Appreciate you guys a lot. We're going to wrap it up now. Thanks to all my guests. Thanks to J-Book. Thanks to Heater. Thanks to Bax. Thanks to Pat Murphy. And thanks to Wagon. And thanks to all of you. I appreciate you guys very much. We'll be back with you Monday morning. Dan Rubin and I will be with you on the Bucknuts Morning 5, 9 a.m. Eastern on Monday. So keep it locked to Bucknuts. We're going to have full coverage. We'll have videos up from postgame press conferences, stories from Wagon and Pat. I'll post the podcast for anybody that missed some of it. We'll have it on Bucknuts. We'll have it on our YouTube page. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great rest of your night and a great Sunday. Go Bucks. I hope you are still basking.